YouTubers! Mike Martin's here. Mike Martin's channel. Guys, it's friggin' cold, man. So I'm here chilling out at the shop, making some hot soup, and skimming through a few articles. And someone sent me this one. It's by the CBC. It's a really good one. And posted today's date. And people are looking to swap homes to save on fees and all this Mickey Mousing. So here it is. Dear neighbor, want to swap a house? Ottawa family, they could stay in the cherished neighborhood by taking unusual approach. So I don't think that's unusual. I think we did that before legal tender was. I think people were swapping homes, and I think people were moving on someone's turf. I think it's been happening for a long time, but because we became so generalized, and with a deregulated banking system we're on right now, that's completely deregulated and has no. That's been penting up, helping and supporting pent up demand on housing, and creating this false supply versus demand. Allison and her husband Brad and 3 young kids live in Ottawa Old South in a house that's rapidly becoming too small for their growing family. And it's true. We have 1 bathroom and 5 people. That's starting to feel a little tight. Egan, 35, told CBC's Ottawa Monday morning 2 years ago they started looking for a bigger house in the same neighborhood, but demand has outstripped supply in this corner of Ottawa's hot housing market. If it's a hot housing market, that means you're seeing a lot of people either A, mass exodusing Toronto and other major cities and moving themselves to Ottawa, Montreal, and other cities, because those are the hot housing markets right now in Canada, because people are relocating. That's what's happening, right? We're looking at very small geographic area, and there's not a lot of supply. So before they play the supply and demand game, there's something else. I could bet you, if it's a hot housing market, 1 out of 3 or 1 out of 4 homes will be empty, owned by foreign investing. We're looking at a small geographic area that's not a lot of supply. There are very few listings that come up, and when they do come up, they sell very quickly, and it's very competitive. You see, back in the day, that wasn't the case. Back in the day, your house would sit there for a couple of 100 days. Then you'll send somebody over to come and then they'll send somebody over to do an inspection. And then if it passes the inspection, their inspection, they'll go ahead and put an offer in it. That's how I did when I bought my house 3 years ago. I'm a very lucky man that I got out of the big city at the right time. Now everyone's moving to smaller cities. Multiple offers means properties go for more than asking as bidding wars break out and push prices higher. So now we have bidding wars. Bidding wars were very common in Sydney, Melbourne, and wherever you get more foreign investing, like in Seattle, Vancouver, Lower Mainland, Vancouver, Seattle, all of King County, pretty much, all the way Oregon, California. You're seeing tons of bidding wars, okay? And a lot of it is just corporate numbers that own these companies. It's not even people. It's just like corporate numbers, corporate entities that own these properties, right? That's why Vancouver's sitting at about 80, 90,000 empty units. Toronto's got 110,000 empty units. And that's what's happening, right? So when people are bidding, they're obviously bidding that, hoping that the market's going to keep going up. A lot of the people are speculating, not raising a family. In this case, they're laying roots, and they're not buying a house because they want to make money. They want to buy a house for comfort and laying roots and staying in their neighborhood. It wasn't really the way they wanted to find a place. So we're going to live in for the next 20 to 30 years, sort of rushing through the process. A different approach. So the family decided to try something out of the ordinary. They wrote a letter suggesting a house swap and dropped it off at 40 neighbors, hoping someone in a larger home will looking to downsize, but remain in the neighborhood where the smaller houses are especially hard to come by, will be interested in a trade. Why is the smaller houses harder to come by? Because it's the cheaper inventory on the market that always goes first. Luxury usually takes longer. Luxury and mansions and stuff usually takes longer. Now, 2-3 years ago in Vancouver, luxury $20 million apartments, one level penthouse, $20 million. So the letter states, "Dear neighbor, we are distributing this letter in the hopes of finding a forever home." It goes on to suggest a possible trade and explains the family would pay the difference in the house values. That's a really good idea, guys. This is a really great idea they're throwing out here. Egan said the idea is to reach out to people that might be thinking about selling but aren't quite sure if they want to cross that bridge. We thought this might help motivate them. No bites yet. So far, no one has accepted the offer, but the family has received responses, including the tips about neighbors who may be close to putting their house up on the market. Others who have kids in their late teens confided they're starting to think about what they're going to do next, Egan said. If the gambit fails, Egan said, the family will consider renovating their existing home rather than leaving the old Ottawa South neighborhood they love. Still, she remains optimistic. They'll find a kindred spirit and a bigger home. We would know that our house is going to someone that's really going to take care of it, and we would know the same thing, Egan said. So people aren't buying it to leave it empty. They're actually looking. So 7-8 years ago, it was a little bit different. 7-8 years ago, you put a house on the market, you lay it there, leave it there, 30-40 days goes by, you adjust the price, another 30-40 days go by. Why? Because it's locals buying. Local incomes are buying. When local incomes are buying, because property prices are driven or based off people's incomes. Now we've got to the point where it's 16 to 24 times the annual income to buy a house. No one's going to buy. So everyone's leaving these major cities and moving to these smaller towns, and they're pushing. Ottawa's a smaller city in comparison to Toronto. Even Mississauga is bigger. But I think, in my opinion, prices keep going up. And when prices keep going up, I think that it is going to get worse before it gets better. I think things will get a lot worse before they get better. This is a very smart way. Trade up and then pay the difference on the value of the house. If you got someone that wants to bid it on the bidding wars and try and get what they can out of it, then, money always conquers over love. That's why love should conquer over money all the time. Love. You see, if we loved each other more, we wouldn't be so greedy. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I want to thank everybody for messaging me here. If you want to message me here, Mike Martin's channel on Facebook. This is a real page. It has 117,000 people that follow it. So don't go to the wrong page, please. There's a fake one out there. And also join the channel here. I already got quite a few people joining the channel and supporting the cause. I really appreciate that. It's going to help pay my electricity bill to keep this heat running in the store. And Teen Spring, people have been shopping here. Thank you so much for buying Mike in the Night swag. I put the cheaper stuff up top for you guys. Here it is, guys. I try to put the cheaper stuff. No, it's still more expensive. Hold on, let me see if I can find. There it is. Cheaper tees here. Cheaper socks, everything.